5 different people, 5 different perspectives, one conclusion. Nigeria's 2027 election is already being manipulated and the evidence keeps piling up. Stay with me. By now, you know about the ADC crisis, INEC deleting David Mark meetings, the INEC chairman exposed Twitter accounts. But today, something different happened. 5 forces, a journalist, an activist, 2 lawyers and a political analyst all said something that connects everything together. Now let me show you exactly what they said and what it means for 2027. First, Dr. Abati of Arise News raised something that stopped people in their tracks. In court, he said ADC's own Bolaji Abdullahi just expressed fear about something nobody wants to hear, that ADC might not even participate in the 2027 election at all. Please take a listen.
ADC faction, the courts will still inquire into the matter. There is a pending case in the Federal High Court. There are other cases that may well come up. The fear, as expressed by Malam Bolaji Abdullahi, is that the ADC, David Mark faction, or the entire party, whatever faction, may find itself not being able to participate in this 2027 electoral process.
Honestly, that's just the fear, because the party that Peter Obi, Atiku Abubakar, Rotimi Amechi, El-Rufai and now Rabi Kwankwaso are building around may not even make it to the 2027 ballot. And viewers, if that happens, it means the opposition loses its strongest vehicle before the race even begins. Now keep that in mind as we move forward. Tanko of the Obedient movement went even further. He did not just talk about ADC. He said Amupitan has been systematically destroying Labour Party, PDP and now ADC. All 3 opposition parties, specifically to stop Peter Obi from having a legitimate ticket in 2027. And he said the man must resign. Yes, exactly what he said.
He is actually partisan. And with all due respect, what has happened to the ADC justify that. This particular INEC and the previous INEC has put his hand in the Labour Party and destroyed it. Has also put his hand in the PDP, it has also destroyed it. It has also put his hand in other political parties, including now the latest one, which is the ADC. And this trend will continue, not only for anything, but to justify the fact that Mr. Peter Obi, as far as I am concerned, does not have the ticket to run for election. This is just the course of the matter. So, in fact, what we are seeing as regard to what he has tweeted in his handle shows that he is partisan, and we need an INEC that is not partisan.
Quick one, please kindly like this video as you're watching. It really helps us a lot, and don't forget to hit the subscribe button so you never miss any updates. Now, Labour Party, PDP, ADC, 3 parties all facing serious institutional problems under the same INEC chairman, and Mr. Tanko is saying that this is not a coincidence. Is basically saying it is a calculated strategy to leave Peter Obi with nowhere to go in 2027. Now think about that for a second. And right now, lawyer and activist Deji Adeyanju backed all of this up with a very direct statement. He said APC has its hand in the INEC and ADC issue, and he warned that this is not just about one party. This is about Nigeria becoming a one-party state. In fact, he said if this continues, Tinubu could be seeking to become a life president. Here's what he said. Take a listen.
President Tinubu should stop trying to kill opposition in the country. Allow opposition. It's even better for you, Mr. President, if opposition is strong, viral, and is thriving. Because why do you want to foist upon the country a one-party state? Why? Because after one-party state, the next thing is that the president will want to become a life president. And the president should stop listening to political jobbers, political hallelujah boys that are encouraging this kind of conduct to try and kill opposition and foist on the country one-party state. INEC is in collusion with the APC. They are colluding with the APC and Bola Ahmed Tinubu's government to destroy opposition in the country and also inadvertently destroy democracy. I don't know why the president is so obsessed. The president killed PDP because he does not want opposition. Now the president wants to kill ADC. I think the last time this happened was under Abati, when Abati wanted to run unopposed. And it didn't even still end well. I don't know why the people around the president or the president himself, why they are so desperate about killing opposition in the country. How does it benefit Nigerian democracy if opposition is dead in the country? How does it even benefit Nigeria as a country if there is no opposition in the country? The ideal thing, Mr. President should even go out of his way to make sure that the democracy is not killed and that opposition does not die. Because the beauty of any viral governance or democracy is when we have a viral opposition.
Just imagine life presidents. Honestly, those are strong words, because when you look at everything happening right now, INEC deleting opposition leaders, courts being used to freeze parties, the INEC chairman exposed supporting APC, it becomes harder to dismiss that warning. Now, lawyer Oshoma brought a completely different but equally important angle. He said Nigerian courts need to stop using Latin maxims in their judgments. Now, why does that matter here? Because the entire ADC crisis has been driven by the court using the phrase status quo ante bellum, a Latin term which INEC then interpreted in a way that gave them cover to delete the ADC leadership. Now, Oshoma is basically saying plain English would have prevented all of this confusion from being exploited. Here's exactly what he said. Take a listen.
When you look at all of this, because they also understand that there are some areas where the court needs to interfere. And now, on the 2nd of September 2025, the ADC, the Bala nephew, went to court, filed an application, ex parte application, interlocutory application, an originating process, asking the court to derecognize David Mark and Aregbesola as restrain them from parading themselves as leaders of the party, to also restrain INEC from recognizing them. When the application ex parte came up on the 4th of September, the court said, no, we can't grant you these prayers without hearing the other side. Go and put the other side on notice. Let them come and file the affidavit to show cause why we should not grant the interlocutory application. One would have expected that all parties will file their counter affidavit to show cause. I won't be here. In that case, it was only INEC, the 4th respondent, that filed the affidavit to show cause. And one of their prayers was that the court lacks jurisdiction to hear this matter.
INEC said so.
Yes, INEC said so, that the court lacked jurisdiction to hear this matter, that the Supreme Court haven't decided that the court should not interfere in inter-party matter. INEC also prayed that the executive NEC meeting of the ADC had been held in July, and that they had recognized the body that emerged from that meeting. And so the court should strike out the suit. So one would have expected that ADC would also file their counter. But no, they went to Court of Appeal. And you ask yourself, why would they ordinarily go to the Court of Appeal for a matter as simple as coming to show cause?
That's the question, really.
So when they got to Court of Appeal, the Court of Appeal said, well, for a prayer such as this, since it's a discretionary matter from the judge, it's a judge discretion, you cannot come here without leave of that court or this court. And so for that the appeal is incompetent. And one would also have expected that, having heard that the appeal is incompetent, the Court of Appeal will leave it at that. And say, go back, since they have said go back to the trial court and ask for accelerated hearing. They said go back to the trial court and ask for accelerated hearing. But then they now went further to say, instead of using the everyday English, you know how we lawyers confuse people with grammars and Latin maxims, maintain status quo ante bellum. Don't foist a fait, don't do anything that will foist a fait accompli on the court. And once that happens, parties usually in Nigeria, because that's why I started with their inability to determine leadership, both parties lay claim to victory. You remember in Labour Party matter, the court will deliver judgment. Abure's faction will say the judgment is in their favor. The other faction will say the judgment is in their favor. And the same thing with PDP. Iron faction is claiming victory. Emmanuel's faction is claiming victory. That was the position that they were. We all know. And then INEC now say, you know what, I don't want to recognize either party. It is expected that they go back to that same court, file their affidavit to show cause, ask for accelerated hearing, and deal with that matter.
To be honest, that's an important point that most people missed. The legal language itself became a weapon, and until Nigerian courts speak plainly, that weapon will keep being used. Now, I saved the most powerful voice for last. Peter Akah broke down something that every Nigerian needs to hear before 2027. He said, Tinubu cannot win a free and fair election. He said the 2027 rigging pattern that brought Tinubu to power will not work in 2027. And he explained exactly why. This is the clip you need to watch carefully.
Clear part, sir. Between you and I are Nigerians, Tinubu knows, Akpabio knows, everybody in the APC ruling party knows that the only way you can win election with APC in 2027 is election rigging. If Tinubu has done well for the people and Nigerians love you organically, you don't need 31 governors. You don't need politicians to carry this billionaire guys. People will vote for you because you are popular. How many governors did Obi have when he got the result he got? That is why they are afraid. They are G3. All of these are actions deliberately aimed at subverting the vote and will of the people. We must resist. Tinubu will only return if the majority of Nigerians who are victims of his failed and incompetent leadership permit that they rig themselves back into office. Tinubu will not return if the majority of Nigerians who have been victims of this failed leadership wake up and say we will vote and our vote will be protected and it must count. They have no pathway to returning. Of course, almost all aspects of the state have been captured. The National Assembly has become an APC town hall. When the president goes there, he's greeted on their mandate, they shall collapse. In fact, when Akpabi was recently inaugurated, he used to wear a cap that brandishes the insignia of the president's political mantra. When the president visited the judicial panel where they had their meeting of the judges, what was sung there? On your mandate, you shall collapse. So, I mean, is it the police? Is it the EFCC? What part of government? Every institution that should stand, of which democracy is a government where leadership or nation building is built on the strength of your institutions and not strong men. So we have decided to make, Nigerians must realize that there is something we say. They say that the way you sit down, night cameraman go snap you. If we do nothing, then we are going to empower them. We are afraid of what is afraid of us. If all of Nigerians say you are tired of this level of brazen criminality, it will end.
Now, let me bring everything together simply. Dr. Abati raised the fear that ADC might not make 2027. Tanko made the accusation Amupitan destroyed 3 parties to stop Peter Obi. Deji Adeyanju gave the warning that APC wants a one-party state, and Oshoma identified the weapon, legal language being exploited, and also Peter Akah gave the verdict. The rigging pattern will fail. 5 different people, 5 different angles, 1 picture. Now here's what I want you to think about. If all of this is happening before the election even starts, then what happens when we actually get to 2027? Because the opposition needs to unite, that's the bitter truth, and not just for their own political ambitions, but because a divided opposition is the only thing that makes what these 5 people are warning about possible. So I want to hear from you before you go. Do you believe Nigeria can have a free and fair election in 2027, or is the system already too broken? Drop your honest take in the comments. So that's the full breakdown, 5 voices, 1 conclusion. 2027 is already under threat. Make sure you like this video if it opened your eyes, and don't forget to subscribe and turn on notifications to always be the first to get notification whenever I drop new updates. And trust me, you won't be disappointed, and help us to share this video. Let's keep everyone informed.